Now, the nurses' strike entered its 16th day today, and some counties continue playing hardball. In Homa Bay County, for example, only one nurse complied with the directive. Nurses in Kisii County, however, called off the strike today for 60 days. In Murang'a County, the government has begun the process of replacing those on strike. Now, of the 17 counties where nurses are still on strike, Homa Bay is worst hit, with 871 striking nurses, only one on duty. Marsabit follows with 214 striking nurses, only 5 on duty. Samburu has only 31 nurses on duty, and Taita Taveta has 80, with 286 on strike. 393 nurses are still on strike in Trans Nzoia, and 81 are on duty. And in Kisumu, 690 are yet to resume duty, 137 have. The situation reads differently in Elgeyo Marakwet, with 62 striking nurses and 313 resuming duty. 414 are on duty. And so what is the way forward, and how do you solve the crisis? Quickly for Paranya, who's the COG, Council of Governors Chair, was to be on the show tonight. He cancelled. He didn't explain why. But the show, again, as we say, it has to go on. We have the Secretary General of the Kenyan National Union of Nurses, Setha Panyako. Thank you so much for making time for us tonight.
Thank you, Sen.
There are two statements that are coming to the newsroom right now. I'll refer to them shortly. But first, whatever you say tonight, in furtherance of the strike, because it's going on still,
right.
You've been supporting
it's going on.
We'll see you again be cited in contempt of court. Doesn't look like that bothers you, does it?
It doesn't bother me. Guru's father stayed in Kameguria about 8 years. And Jaramogi Oginga said, no Kenyatta, no Uhuru. There could be no freedom without his father being released. So if it means that Panyako will have to go to jail, even for 50 years, for nurses of this country to be respected, and not to have a government that signs agreement 4 times, not even once, Hussein, 4 times, and running away from those agreements, we are going to bite the bullet.
You're likening this to freedom fighting.
Of course, why not?
I mean, at the expense of law and order?
Let me tell you, where is Mikuna? If there's law and order in this country, where is Mikuna? Mikuna should be in this country. You cannot say that you selectively apply the rule of law. If there is respect for the rule of law, then the president must lead by example. Bring back Mikuna in this country, then we know there's law and order. As a union, we respect the rule of law, we respect the courts, and we shall respect any court orders served on us. Hussein,
you're telling me you haven't been served?
We have not been served with a single paper.
It's been all over the media, I mean.
Which all over the media, man? Court cannot make decisions based on gossip. The courts must make decisions based on paper. There are rules that must be followed for you to be convicted, to be contempt of court.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say, Hussein, the orders which you are hearing have been found in contempt of court. That was an executive order, not a judicial order.
No, we saw a judge yesterday saying very well, I mean, holding you in contempt and actually saying if you keep on talking about the strike, again, he'll hold you in contempt. That is given. And there's also a court order stopping the strike for about 60 days, which clearly you have not honored, and you're saying you have no apologies to make, you're not going to honor it.
I have no apologies. I have not received any court order. I have not been served with any court order. I don't know how it looks like. I have been sued in my personal capacity as Setha Panyako, not as a union. Because a union is an entity registered with the powers to sue and to be sued as provided for in the Labor Relations Act, Section 21. So there is no way you can sue me in my personal capacity, and none of these people, I've never seen any one of them at my home coming to serve me. So there is no one who can purport to say, I have been served. If the court wants to operate through gossip in the media and innuendos, that is miserable for the judiciary. We must respect the rule of law. We cannot say because so-and-so has said there is a court order, then so-and-so has been served because so-and-so has said. We have been served court orders for Kitui County government. We respect those orders and we call off the strike.
So clearly, I mean, the strike is going on, regardless of what is going on in the courts and all of others, which are saying the strike is going on according to you. This is the latest communication now. 2 statements coming in just right now in our newsrooms. One from a joint statement between the Ministry of Health and Council of Governors on nurses' strike. As I said, Chair Oparanya was to be here, but he cancelled, didn't explain why. And there's also another document we are getting. This is from the Controller of Budget. First, because there are some counties that have already had an agreement with nurses, and I've seen them return to work, and they've paid or promised to pay, isn't it? Or paid, actually. They have paid.
6 county governments have paid.
So this is what the Controller of Budget says. I'll read this very briefly. The Controller of Budget in a statement says, as you are aware, the Constitution also established other independent fiscal institutions in order to ensure prudent use of public funds in line with Article 2.1 of the Constitution and all that. Of course, they're talking about the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, which have said this money can be paid, isn't it? So to the nurses, that is the nursing service allowance and the uniform allowance that you had agreed to. So they go on to say the COB, the Control of Budget, is aware that Mombasa County government is paying enhanced allowances to nurses contrary to those approved by SRC, and not Mombasa only, plus Machakos and the rest. So they say, therefore, the purpose of this letter is to request that you do not pay any enhanced allowances to the nurses until approval is granted by SRC, the counties that are paying. And further, we request that you recover all enhanced allowances already paid to the nurses and notify this office accordingly.
You see, there is arm twisting, and there is what I'm saying, politicizing the nurses issue. Because Article 41 of the Constitution of Kenya gives the trade unions and the employer the right to a collective bargaining agreement. Now, if it means that SRC is now going to be setting salaries, in fact, what's happening today is that SRC does not understand their mandate. They are now setting salaries for public servants instead of setting salaries for state officers. When you say about authorization, authorization is simply setting salaries. So SRC has been defeated to perform her duty of setting salaries for state officers. That's why it cannot set salaries for Parliament. Parliament went to court and it won the suit. So when you talk about that, what happens to Article 41? Is there a provision in the Constitution of Kenya where provision of the Constitution, one article, is above another article? Is that what they're telling us? That Article 41 is inferior to the article that established SRC? Okay,
I remember when this strike happened in 2017, that is, for about 5 months. Then you came up with this collective, not collective bargaining agreement, you came up with a return to work formula, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes.
Just for our viewers, in that return to work formula, you are to get a nursing service allowance of 10,000 shillings spread across 3 years, starting July 18th, 2018, July 2018, beginning with 3,000 shillings in July, then all until 2021. And again, 15,000 shillings uniform allowance, that is annual.
Yes.
That is what you have not been given.
Yes.
Now, when you're doing this meeting and signing the return to work formula, was SRC present?
It was present. In fact, we had a SRC commission, the older one, the one by Sarah Serem, was in place. And I can tell you for free, this country, you know, I like what Justice Maraka said, that a country can only be great when it respects the Constitution, rule of law, and respect in court. We have leaders who do not respect anything. They don't even respect themselves. This agreement was done with the highest consultation of the land. I don't know how to mention which office, but I want to tell you there was highest consultation of the land. When we were in that meeting, I saw a phone call from the highest office on the land.
I mean, that's the presidency.
And that office said, I have given them that one. They take or they go. And we said, if this is what's coming from the office of the president, we cannot refuse. We humbly take it and we go. So I do not understand why. Let me tell you, corruption has captured COG. And it has now extended the fight to capture all arms of government. Because I have said, and I'll repeat it, and I want anyone to challenge me on that, that there is a problem which is emanating from outside the government system. There is a county pension fund which has captured COG. This war you are seeing today is about corruption. It's not about lack of money within government. SRC was in place. SRC gave advice on this agreement.
But they went again, I mean, last year when you issued this notice, they said the money cannot be paid.
After we completed the agreement, they left office.
This is the joint statement now from the Ministry, finally, Ministry of Health and Council of Governors. They say it is hereby reiterated that the defined, this is just coming now in the newsrooms, it is hereby reiterated that the defined nurses at both levels of government will face disciplinary action in accordance with existing government regulations. In addition, mechanisms will be put in place to ensure that dismissed officers are not rehired at any level of government.
We have no problem. When you go in a war, Dedan Kimathi died. He never experienced the freedom you have today. Uhuru's father left Kapenguria, and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga said, I cannot be president. I'll have to wait for Jomo Kenyatta to come from freedom, from prison in Kapenguria before Kenya becomes independent. So when you are going out there to fight, you expect casualties. And we are willing to take the bullet. I know even my life is in danger. I know I'm being handed. Anytime I can be picked and I can disappear. This is the kind of country that we have, yes. And I'm not scared.
David Diani, David Indiani says that Panyako guy is calling you, okay. Panyako, in which hospital does he work or do you work? Did nursing stop being a calling? Because there's always this is always said by some viewers and some Kenyans. Because ultimately when all this happens, Kenyans suffer, isn't it? And this is just somebody who's talking, I believe, from frustrations or seeing the problems Kenyans are facing.
I'm a CEO, and I cannot have two jobs. I can only have one job. I'm a CEO, and I used to work in Kenyatta National Hospital. That was my last point of engagement as a nurse in Kenya. Therefore, I know what happens in public healthcare system. When he talks about calling, doesn't he understand that nurses have children to feed? Doesn't he understand that nurses have houses to pay rent? Doesn't he understand that nurses have children to go to school? We, apart from, the calling comes in with the kind of the work that we do. Let me tell you who said, when you are sick and you are unable to take care of your basic needs, we will take care of you. When you are in the hospital and you cannot take care of your metabolic system, we will take care of you. When those people are in the hospital and they are passing diarrhea and they cannot control it, we will take care of you. We will take care of those patients. That's where the calling comes in. Because you cannot be able to imagine a corona person, you are cleaning feces of a corona person, and then you say, that's not a calling. That's where the calling comes in. But it does not matter. We are professionals. We have families to take care of. I also want, when I come here, I go for one for the road. Just like any other Kenyan. You cannot tell me that I am a nurse, there's a calling. Okay. I am a nun, I stay in a convent, I eat manna from heaven. Right. There's no manna from heaven.
They're saying now, I mean, nurses will be hired on contract. So, I mean, after all this, so what is the way forward for you? I mean, all they're asking you to do, could be simplistic to them, according to you, is just, I mean, follow the court order, 60 days, give room for the conciliation process to work, and you'll come to an understanding.
Hussein,
what is the way forward to you?
Hussein, the way forward is that I am meeting my officials on Friday for the 14 counties which are on strike.
Yes.
And we are coming to discuss what has happened from the day they started the strike up to now. They are the ones to decide the direction we're going to take, because that strike was requested by them. And I gave them the powers that if you are satisfied with what the government gives you, you will suspend the strike or call it off. That is why some county governments like Nyeri, they have called off the strike under the terms which I may not like. But you see, they made that decision. Muranga, they have called off the strike under the conditions which the branch secretary says is okay with her and their members. I can't go against that. So we will be meeting these people on Friday, and they will be looking and evaluating the channel we have worked. And from there, what next? If they don't employ Kenyan nurses, there are so many people outside there who want Kenyan nurses. They can work in Europe, they can work in America. Will
you participate in this conciliation process?
We are already participating.
So that is going on?
That's going on.
The only thing is that they're not going back to work. That's what you're saying?
They are not going back to work as things stand today. This is subject. Can it change even tomorrow? Can it change even 1 hour from now? But I am sure we will follow the law. First of all, Hussein, you must know one thing. The only arm of government that has stood with the nurses is the judiciary. So the last arm of government that nurses want to fight with is the judiciary. We cannot fight the judiciary. The judiciary gave us this union, and we respect that. The judiciary, even the legal notice that gives us this money, the Ministry of Labor refused to give us. The judiciary gave us that legal notice. So there is no way, if there is sufficient evidence that there are orders, and when I see them, that there are orders which have been served on me, I will be respecting court orders, because we cannot fight the judiciary.
All right. But of course, they're saying you're not respecting court orders and you're still in contempt. Be that as it may, thank you. Setha Panyako, Secretary General, Kenya Nurses Union, for making time for us this evening. We have somebody here who says, please ask the respected governors to do the necessary and also pay them the January 2019 salaries which they have worked for instead of punishing them. We will help them next when they are found on the patient bed. Okay, and then we have one more here who says, yeah, nurses are the backbone of the health services world over. Therefore, nurses should be paid immediately. Devolving health services was wrong in the first place. Corruption is rampant in counties and will not be able to pay them. This is Farah in Maral. Keep texting us, 22422 on Twitter. Use the hashtag Newsnight. The final text here, 22422. The absence of COG chair Oparanya is suspicious in itself. He knows very well that the nurses are right in demanding their dues. But of course,
if he was honest, he should have been here.
They have given their statements. As I said, the COG chair was to be here, but they cancelled. But nonetheless, the show has to go on. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
for making time for us tonight.